Behold, Elijah has come. When we look at what's called the Bible, the Old Testament, if you look closely, it has been arranged in such a way that we don't really understand if the prophecy have took place or if it hasn't, such as the book of Malachi. Malachi was talking about what was going on with Israel at the time, such as their backsliding and what was to happen if they didn't turn away from their sins. Malachi 2 and 10. Have we all one Father? Has not one God created us? Why do we deal treacherously, every man against his brother, by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Now, when we take a look at Kings 1, the same thing that Malachi was prophesying in and what was going on was the same things that was going on in Kings. The men of Israel were marrying strange daughters that wasn't of their father's seed. Malachi 2:11. Judah has dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah has profaned the holiness of the Most High, which he loved, and has married the daughter of a strange god. So again, Malachi was prophesying on what was going on with King Ahab and what all the people were doing, because he was ruler in Israel at the time and he was not abiding by the law, statutes, and commandments. And with that, people were going astray and doing their own thing, also in worshiping the other nations' God, their idols. One thing I've noticed that people have been saying is they're waiting for Malachi to return, as stated in Malachi 4 and 6. But this is the thing. Think about the direction we're in today. Do you really think that a man can come along and turn these children's hearts back to their fathers and vice versa? No. I think not, because the children are so disrespectful these days. Like, they think that they know everything as opposed to the parent. So they're not following the law, statutes, and commandments. So they're not even going to know, how to begin to respect the commandments, which is thou shalt honor their mother and father. Malachi 4 and 6. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. From what I'm reading of Malachi, he is speaking of the children of Israel turning away from him and doing abominable things that goes against his law, statutes, and commandments, even forgetting them. Then that means Malachi 4 and 6 has been changed, because, and yes, the book has been infiltrated and changed around to certain people's liking to throw us off. As you read the whole book of Malachi, he's not talking about children being disrespectful to their parents, but he's talking about Israel being disrespectful to the Most High. So, in my synopsis of this, Malachi 4 and 6 is supposed to read, I will turn the children of Israel back to the Most High, and when their hearts turn back to the Most High, His heart will turn back to them. Now at this point, you must be thinking, well, that was so long ago. But you have to remember, our time is not His time. 1,000 years to us is but a day to the Most High of Hosts. Psalms 90:4. For 1,000 years in your sights are but yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. Brothers and sisters, let's not look at our time being that of the Most High's time. So to the Most High, this happened like yesterday. But to us, it happened thousands and thousands upon thousands of years ago. In the book of Malachi, he's also talking about how the men of Israel were taking on to themselves daughters of other nations who knew not the Most High, nor His law, statutes, and commandments. And so when we turn over and look at Kings and look at what was happening in Elijah's time, we see that Jezebel was a present figure amongst the prophets, and she was leading them astray. How was she leading them astray? She was introducing them to her God, what she believed in, and turning their hearts to be double. And as we look, Malachi was also speaking of the heavens opening up and bringing a blessing, which we know is rain. When we look at Kings 1, at the time of Elijah's coming, there was no rain. Everything was dry, people were hungry, people were thirsty because of the abomination there was in Israel at the time and in Jerusalem. Let's take a look at some more scriptures. Kings 1:18-1. And it came to pass after many days that the word of the Most High came unto Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show yourself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. Rain upon the earth, because there was a drought. As we look more into Kings 1, we notice a person by the name of Obadiah mentioning. Obadiah in Kings is the same Obadiah that has the book of Obadiah. And what was Obadiah prophesying about? Edom, the strange daughters, etc. What was Obadiah doing in Kings 1? He was saving the prophets from this Jezebel person by putting them in a cave and hiding them away so they wouldn't hear this woman's teachings to lead their heart astray. And the men of Israel were lusting after her beauty. So I do believe that this Jezebel woman was an Edomite woman. When we look at the book of Obadiah, it's all about Edom, is it not? Malachi, Elijah, Obadiah were speaking of the same curse of the Israelite men. Now let's see how Obadiah responded to when he met up with Elijah. Kings 1:18-7. And as Obadiah was in the way, behold, Elijah met him, and he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Are you that my Lord Elijah? Kings 1:18-8. And he answered him, I am. Go, tell your Lord, behold, Elijah is here. How did these people know about Elijah? And what was he to come and do if it wasn't from the book of Malachi? These people had read the prophecy of Malachi, so they were expecting the coming of the day of Elijah. Check out Obadiah's response to having to go and tell Ahab that Elijah is here. Kings 1:18-10. As the Lord your God lives, there is no nation or kingdom where my lord Ahab has not sent to seek you. And when they said he is not there, he took an oath of the kingdom and nation that they find you not. Why is that? Ahab was well aware of Malachi's prophecy, so he knew when Elijah had arrived on the scene what was to take place. So that's why Obadiah was afraid to tell King Ahab that Elijah is here, spoken of by the prophet Malachi. It seems to me that the people wanted to do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. Also, King Ahab, knowing the prophecy, and knew if they didn't hearken to this Elijah person, that there would be a curse on the earth. 1 Kings 18:17. And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah that Ahab said unto him, Are you he that troubles Israel? How is he going to trouble Israel? Because the prophet Malachi spoke of what was to happen in the day of his coming, and Ahab knew that he was leading Israel astray from the Most High. Kings 1:18-18. And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you and your father's house, and that all of you have forsaken the commandments of the Most High, and you have followed after an idol. And I'm not going to say the name. This idol was also the idol that Jezebel was getting the prophet, the Israelite men, to worship. By this, Israel was marrying many type of Jezebel spirits spoken of by Malachi. People, we know that there's nothing new under the sun. Absolutely nothing new under the sun. Let's think about Jezebel. She was another nation woman. She was worshiping an idol. She got the Israelite men to do the same thing and turn away from the Most High and create an abominable act. What is the Jezebel spirit today? Is she not teaching Christianity? Are not the men of Israel drooling over her? And because of this, they worship her God, JC. Now, let's find out what Elijah did in Kings 1 that Ahab was so worried about. Kings 1:18-21. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, How long have all of you between two options? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if the idol, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Israel, how long will you be of two opinion? Old Testament and New Testament. Nothing new under the sun. Kings 1:18 and 22. Then Elijah unto the people, even I remain a prophet of the Most High, but the idols' prophet are 450 men. Torah only people, there are only but a remnant of us that know this truth. Christianity, 2.5 billion followers, or somewhere about that, give or take. So here we have Elijah mocking them in Kings 1:18 and 27, as he should, because it's ridiculousness. Elijah mocked them because he knew that it was a joke of what they chose to worship and follow. But these people of Israel believed so much that this idol was their savior. When did JC save? Was it when you were being gathered to be put on slave ships? Was it when you were being beaten and oppressed by your captors? Or is he saving the people that's being heavily judged in the streets by authority? Kings 1:18 and 36. And it came to pass at the time of offering and of sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Most High, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. What was the Most High's word? The word that was spoken of by Malachi. And what was Elijah to do when he came? Reprove the children of Israel that the Most High God is alone, and there is no other beside him, turning their hearts back to the Most High. Let's find out. 1 Kings 18 and 37. Hear me, O Most High, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Most High God, and that you have turned their hearts back again. That you have turned their hearts back again. Hence, spoken of by the prophet Malachi. 1 Kings 18 and 36, to sum everything up. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. So the children of Israel's heart was turned back to the Father. Brothers and sisters, if you are still waiting on Elijah to come, you are far behind, because Elijah has come already. So you know what that means? We are waiting for the great and terrible day of the Most High. So get ready. And as a servant of the Most High, He has caused the people to see all that is going on around them right now. And what we are witnessing is those birth pains. And it shall come, because His words do not come back void. Behold, Elijah has came. All praises to the Most High. Have a blessed day.